One thing to check if your motor isn't working at all, which ours is your fuse. It's number 14 here for the wiper motor. Pull that out, 20 amp fuse, and it's working perfectly good, which I knew because our motor's working fine. I'm going to put that back in because I've got to see what's happening with our motor. Today we're changing out a wiper motor on a 1999 Jeep Wrangler Sahara, and the first thing we're going to do here is we've got to take out 5 screws on the front. 1, 2 on that side, 1 here. Then we're going to lift the hood, and there's 2 more screws underneath the rubber here and on the other side. Okay, now that all the screws are out, now we're going to take off the wiper. A little tab right here, it just pulls down, and then this just pulls straight off as soon as the tab is down all the way. There it is. The other one comes off just the same way. Make sure you pull that tab down. Okay, now we'll go ahead and lift this panel up, take it straight out, and I think I'm just going to start right there. Wiper motor is down here. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take out these bolts here that hold in the whole assembly. There's one here, there's one down here, and there's one over on this side, and then the whole assembly should come out. There's 3 bolts out using a 10mm socket, and next we're going to take the whole assembly up so we can get to it from the back of it. Put the whole assembly out here, and I'm going to remove the electrical harness now. There's a tab here I'm going to take off, and then this should come apart, I believe, after that. Okay, they really don't want the electrical connection to come apart. After you take this tab out here, you've got to take a small flat screwdriver, small one. It's got to fit in between a groove down there in the bottom, and you got to release another tab in there to allow that to come apart. And once you kind of lift that up, see if we can pull this out now. That just slides right off. You're lifting, you're slipping between this groove here, and then you're lifting the tab up over the top of this notch right here on the inside. Okay, we're going to turn the whole assembly over now, and there are 3 bolts here on the back. 1, 2, and 3 that need to come out. This is what's holding the motor in place. And take those out next. And these 3 are 10mm also. After the 3 bolts are out, you got to remove this center one that attaches onto the motor also. It uses a 1/2 inch. I'm not sure what it is in millimeters, probably a 13mm, but I just had a 1/2 inch wrench here and it fits fine. Okay, took that last bolt off and have the old motor out here. I've got to take the rubber guard off now at this point, and here's the new motor, and it's a remanufactured one with a lifetime warranty. It cost me a little over $100 at O'Reilly's. The instructions inside here were to make sure to remove the rubber off of here and place it onto the new motor, otherwise it would void the warranty. So that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, one thing I did discover when I was taking the electrical connection here off of the bracket, I just pried the this was stuck into the bracket like that, and I just pried it off figuring that, you know, I'd have a new one, and it doesn't come with the new one, so you're going to need to reuse this little bracket right here. So when you're pulling it off, take your time. It actually clips right here, and there's a little tab, and then it slides off at that point, and you're going to need to reuse this. So hopefully I didn't booger it up too much and break anything off there, because you are going to need to reinstall this back to hold the electrical connection onto the bracket. The rubber boot back on, put the electrical connection in first, and then slide it down to where the cylinder part, put that on next, and then you should be able to slip that up and bring the bottom part up over with two hands. Another part you're going to have to save off the motor also, it's this little rubber centering ring here. It's going to need to pop off of there and go onto there. That'll keep it centered into the middle of the bracket hole that's there. So don't forget that piece also. Things right here, there's a, on this side of this bolt right here, at the bottom of it, it has a flat spot on both sides that matches the flat spot that you're going to see on your bracket here. So remember, this black bar has to come all the way over the top and stick it right back in there. So you kind of have to play with it. It does fit pretty tight. Get that back down in there, and then you'll put your bolt back on. Okay, make sure that's seated all the way down there so that it fits on that flat part to help it turn. I used a hammer and my wrench to tap it down a little bit because it went on there pretty snug. Get that fit and flush, and I'll tighten it up. Okay, now we're ready to put it back in under here. Back in the spot where it went. Make sure that's lined up down there. I think this Reman manufactured one was, this cord's a little bit shorter, but I think it's still going to work. Pop back in there. We're going to reinstall, I'm going to reinstall the bolts here, and right there. Okay, this short cord is going to cause a problem. It won't reach over here to the two holes that are in this bracket to hold it in place. So I'm going ahead and marked a couple of holes here. I'm just going to drill two new holes here and mount it on this side and run it off of there. Okay, I just drilled two new holes over on this side, so it mounts a little bit better there. I'm going to go ahead and reinstall the clip. Electrical connector. And before I put everything back together, I'm going to go ahead and turn the wiper on and just make sure that actually works. Okay, it's on. Seems to be working. I'll go ahead and put the red tab back in, and I guess the cover here goes next. Okay, we've got this cover back on. You have to put it in through these first, the windshield wiper knobs here, and then you have to remember that this rubber piece has to go on the outside here. So I've got a little plastic putty knife to kind of help me as I'm pushing it down, make sure that rubber piece is going on the outside of this so it can be between the hood. Alright, okay, it's down with the rubber piece in the right place. I'm going to put on the screws across the top, 4 screws across the top, 1 here in the middle, and don't forget the 2 that are underneath the rubber. Okay, we're going to be installing the wipers now. It's important that before you install the wipers that you have gone back in and turned the wipers off. That way they'll be in the correct position for not being used, and you won't have to do this 3 times like me. Okay, this should be horizontal on there. You kind of have to take it off, eyeball it there a little bit, and knock it down just 1 more notch. Yep, that's pretty good. Alright, and then we'll just close this locking tab here. And use a pair of pliers. there. Do the same thing over here. There we go. I think I'll just edit that out. Alright, now just close that locking tab. I'll close with my hands. This one still didn't want to go. There it goes. Alright. Now, if everything went well, these will be in the right position when we start it up. If we got these going.